Brought to you by Ayoko, Africa's leading integrated technology services company. It's time for Tech Talk. Canal Plus is shaking up South Africa's pay TV landscape following its multi-choice takeover. Now, MultiChoice has warned subscribers that its carriage agreement with Warner Bros. Discovery is set to expire on the 31st of December. Talks to renew it have not made a breakthrough. If unresolved, 12 channels will disappear from the beginning of 2026. Business Days, Mudiwa Gavaza joins us now to unpack what this means for the future of DSTV and South Africa's pay TV landscape. Mudiwa, thanks so much for your time today. For, you and I, someone on the street, this might have, seemed abrupt, right? You just get a message through the app saying that by the 31st of December, you won't have access to 12 channels. Maybe just walk us through where the breakthrough started, because I can imagine this conversation has been ongoing.
Well, the way that I will position this is that you've got two things happening at the same time. Now, I'm neither Warner Bros. Executive nor a MultiChoice executive.
Yes.
However, there are things that are going on right now. Firstly, you've got Canal Plus that's just spent 2 billion euros on MultiChoice, right? So you need to be able to streamline that business. You need to be able to increase revenue. You need to be able to be cutting costs in the areas that need, cost cutting. Though in my conversation recently with the CEO of Canal Plus Africa, they feel like there were certain cost cuts, that perhaps went a bit too far. Take customer acquisition, for example, right? A little bit more could have been spent over the last couple of years trying to keep customers, trying to acquire customers. So that's the one side. The other side of the equation is that you have a Canal Plus / MultiChoice that is negotiating with an entity that might not even exist.
Exactly.
In the coming months. Warner Brothers Discovery has put itself on sale. As part of that entire thing, you've got a breakup of the studio side of the business and then the broadcast / TV channel side of the business. And it's the broadcast / TV channel side of the business that's struggling, right? So in my estimation, if you'll allow me to put myself,
go ahead.
To wear the hat of a Canal Plus executive for a moment, you're trying to cut costs, you're trying to renegotiate a distribution deal. Warner Brothers Discovery is weak at the moment, right? And your contract is coming up for renewal. So you can squeeze, right? Because these guys really need your distribution, right? Whatever happens, chances are these channels will either be off temporarily and then come back, or they'll strike a deal and they'll stay, right? But this is the key channel through which these channels are distributed on the African continent. Full stop. It's not even a matter of debate. So in my estimation, the Canal Plus executive and management is probably using this moment and all the chaos around that deal to probably get themselves a more favorable distribution deal, when it comes to those particular channels.
So it's not au revoir as yet, but then why is that not communicated to subscribers? Because a major blow to the subscribers, particularly those that are in the premium segment, you're thinking, hey, I'm not getting my money's worth here. Might as well just unsubscribe.
All right. Firstly, I'm going to say something which is, people will throw tomatoes at me for, all right? $50 to $60 for a DSTV premium subscription is not that much money.
You're putting it in dollars, Mudiwa. Put it in rands. Put it in rands, yes, and compare it to everything else.
And of course, yes, it's almost 1,000 rand.
Exactly.
That's being spent on this. But for the amount of content that people are getting, and once again, if you're a premium subscriber, you almost have to put yourself at an international level, right, as a premium subscriber, because of the type of content that you have access to. But that's besides the point. I think the bigger message is the fact that when you are trying to talk to consumers, you're trying to just simplify, your communications as much as possible. There was a spat sometime last year between MultiChoice and Wild Earth, for example. Channels staying on, channels coming off, all of these distribution agreements, right? And the normal consumer does not care what deals are being had. They just want to know that when I switch on my TV and I go to channel whatever, I'm going to have TLC, I'm going to have Discovery Channel, I'm going to have... Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
But
so
with those agreements coming up for negotiation, was it still communicated the way it was this week? Because I think that the bit of the blow that came through was because here we are, you're being told that you're not going to have access to 12 channels by the end of the year.
But that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
That this issue around channels staying or being taken off the platform is nothing new. And that's why I pointed to the Wild Earth example.
Yes.
There's also been recently, spats between e-media and and MultiChoice. E-media has a whole bunch of channels: eTunes, eMovies, ETV, ENCA, and there were issues around how many channels get to stay, how many channels are being taken off, all of this stuff. But for the most part, all you can do as a company is simply to say we're in negotiations with XYZ company. There may be there may be an impact to your package, right? Because when you subscribe to a bouquet, the bouquet comes with a certain number of channels, right? So the logos that make up part of that package, if some of them are disappearing, you have to communicate that that's happening. But the nitty-gritties of, there's a breakup of Warner Brothers Discovery, and then at the same time, Netflix is said to be about to buy Warner Brothers, and all of this stuff, it's up in the air. That's besides the point. You need to communicate core. What is affecting the consumer is the number of channels, and simply to calm them down to say, hey, we understand that there's 12 channels that are, potentially going to be off the platform, but we have more than 100 channels, and you'll still be able to watch, what you want to watch. We're going to continue to talk to these people. We've carried their channels for decades, right? Discovery and all of these channels have been on the DSTV platform for a really long time. They've just reached an impasse, and chances are they will be able to reach some type of, settlement. Because as I said, what is the alternative for these channels if they want to be distributed
in Africa?
In Africa on a linear pay TV platform. So it's a bit of a catch-22.
It is. And I'm wondering, with Canal Plus taking in MultiChoice, whether there'll be a lot more of, these contracts coming up for negotiation, especially as it's trying to streamline and cut costs there.
As far as I can see, we are definitely seeing the stated strategy actually coming into play right now with with this particular set of negotiations, because one of the big things that the Canal Plus executive has said to us, and over time we also saw MultiChoice changing its tune, is that we are better together. We need to have a combined entity that speaks on behalf of over 40 million customers, and then you get into the market as a combined voice. So we do anticipate that we're going to see a lot more of that combined negotiation, where Canal Plus is saying, listen, we're no longer just, it should be, I can't remember the exact numbers. We're no longer, just Canal Plus as we were back in the day, but now we speak as Canal Plus Africa Plus, the huge MultiChoice stable, right? So we've got a bigger voice in the market. Because we're a bigger voice in the market, we think we can possibly get a bigger deal, because our place, at the table has become, that much bigger. And that's what I'm keep coming back to. Between Canal Plus and MultiChoice, what is your alternative, right? Because to my understanding, Canal Plus carries about 11 channels.
Warner Bros. Channels.
That are coming from the stable. Then MultiChoice holds 12. There's probably overlap between the two.
Okay.
I can't remember, but that's the negotiation that's being had. It's across that.
So it's one agreement for I guess both Canal Plus and MultiChoice then.
To my understanding, they are negotiating, on what
Okay.
you call this, on both sides. I stand to be corrected
Okay.
on that point. Yeah.
All right, let's leave it there. Mudiwa, thanks so much for your time and sharing your insights with us today. That was Business Days, Mudiwa Kavaza, with this week's edition of Tech Talk. Brought to you by IOCO, Africa's leading integrated technology services company.